Hello to my beautiful collectives out there. Welcome to my channel. Hello to my beautiful collectives out there. Welcome to my channel, Astro Cheryl. And this is your monthly forecast for April 2026. Okay, there's a lot happening here in Aries. So keep your head on. A lot of heat is happening out here. Okay, so we're going to start with the full moon in Libra, which is opposite of Aries. And it's called the pink moon. It'll be at 12 degrees of Libra, and it will be Pacific Standard Time, 7:11 p.m. Okay? This is fiery cardinal energy, leadership energy, initiation energy. Okay, the energy is hot, forward moving, and aggressive. So beware. Okay, you may feel the heat already. The month starts out with the sun in Aries and Mars meeting Neptune and Saturn in Aries this month as well. Okay, the new moon on the 17th is 27 degrees of Aries at 4:51 a.m. and it forms a powerful stellium. And this is just a parade of planets in the sign of Aries, somewhere in one of your houses. Just depend on where the rising sign is for you. Okay, so we have Neptune, Mercury, Mars, and Saturn, the Sun, Moon, and the wounded healer Chiron in Aries as well, conjuncting Aries. So there's a lot to unpack here in your chart, but just note that there is an area of concentrated energy somewhere in your chart in one of the houses. And where that is for you is going to be that intense city. Okay, the energy is intense. You could have arguments about different things depending on where it is, because Aries and Mars, okay, they take action first and think later. Okay, so they can be impulsive. So just beware of any impulsivity that you may have. Try to think about it before you know, put it out there, because during this time, what you put out, you can't take back. That's the thing. But this is all about growth, okay? Maturity, all right? So just so you know, this is happening for you and not just to you, okay? And we all are experiencing this simultaneously. It just depends on where this stellium is in your chart, okay? So let's get going and talk about the rising signs and where this stellium is going to be in your chart, all right? See you on the other side. Hello to my beautiful Sagittarius risings out there. Welcome to my channel, Astro Cheryl, and this is your monthly forecast for April 2026. And we start the month out with the full moon in Libra, squaring Jupiter in Cancer. Okay? We also have all of the planets moving in forward motion. And with that being said, forward motion means faster movement, okay? And we have a stellium of planets that are in the sign of Aries. And let's see, that is going to be in your fifth house, I believe. So there's going to be a lot of tension there because your focus is going to be on that Aries energy. How can you not when you have a stellium? You have a whole lot of planets there. just acting out, just working through, okay? It's funny, you're fire energy, so you know how that goes, Sagittarius. So let's get into your forecast. The full moon in Libra on the 1st of April starts out hot, squares Jupiter in Cancer. And this is happening in your 11th house of memberships, large organizations, um, friendships, your work groups, and your hopes and wishes. And usually your hopes and wishes comes through your friendship groups, your those organizations, membership groups helps you manifest what your hopes and desires are in this 11th house. So it's squaring, and a square is about push and pull, that tension, and it's meant to help us grow and become better at how we handle ourselves in these spaces. And in this case, this is in your 8th house, and your 8th house represents death, Death, depths, Debts, transformation, power and control issues, psychological issues as well, shared finances, other people's money, banking, loans, hidden things, psychic energy is there as well. Okay, and Jupiter in Cancer, Jupiter is an expansive energy. Okay, wherever it is, it's going to expand things. And Cancer is about nurturing, it's about the private parts, where you live, your relationship in your private space, property, your family, your ancestry as well. Okay, so this is in your 8th house, Jupiter in Cancer. So here, your friendships may be evolving over or reaching a turning point. Opportunities for networking, breakthroughs, or realizing your dreams through the help of others are possible here. You have a heightened awareness of group belonging, but your optimism may be exaggerated. That's, that Jupiter energy. And risk of disillusionment is also possible here. There may be debates over money in partnerships or impulsive generosity that may strain your relationship. Okay, so you have to be take that high road, whatever that means to you. Okay. So on the 3rd, when did I just do? Yeah. On the 3rd, we have Venus in Taurus, and this is squaring Pluto. And Pluto is about that 8th house energy that I just spoke about, that transformative energy, that death, and debts, and shared resources. So Pluto is all about the 8th house energy because it rules it. And Aquarius is about the collective, that 11th house energy that I spoke of earlier. It's about freedom and being authentic. So here we have the 6th house, Venus in Taurus, is your house of health, daily routine, your work, and the kind of work that you do, your being of service, and your workplace. And service animals falls under the 6th house as well. And this square with Pluto and Aquarius is in your third house, and the third house is about your community, your local community, your early education, com- communication is also here, short trips, social media, that's third house energy, your siblings, and your friends are here in the third house. So this transit may flare up power struggles in your day-to-day interactions, okay, where your routine pleasures clash with radical thoughts or hidden agendas surfacing through conversations. Expect obsessive fixation on work life balance or health habits. This transit can expose control issues in daily exchanges or with sibling dynamics, pushing for authenticity over superficial harmony. Okay, and I can see that happening, being, part of the issue here. You may feel compelled to confront manipulative communication patterns or redefine values around service and mental connections. So, this is definitely an opportunity for growth, and recognizing your own shortcomings, and how to correct it. So on the 5th, we have the Sun in Aries and is squaring Jupiter in Cancer. And let's see, I did speak of Jupiter in Cancer already, which is in the 8th house. But the Sun in Aries is in your 5th house, and this is the house of joy, your hobbies, your creativity, children, and romance. Okay? So your overconfidence, which is, part of Jupiter and Aries can be overconfident, may lead to impulsive risk with money or intimacy. You may act excessively towards gambling too much or starting romances without emotional grounding. Okay, watch for overextending in loans, taxes, or therapy. Balance generosity with boundaries to avoid depletion. Okay? So on the 9th, we have Mars moving into Aries, and this is happening in your 5th house of joy. Okay? The impulse to act first and think later is amplified. Okay, so watch out for impulsive bets, risky behavior, or overly aggressive competitiveness in creative or romantic arenas. Now, just remember that we have this stellium that's going to be happening in your 5th house. So this is the house of joy, and things going to get, pretty intense here during this month. Okay? So on the 12th, we have Mars and Aries conjuncting Neptune in your 5th house. And Neptune is boundless, it's very creative, it's a spiritual energy, but it's also makes you see things that it blurs things, okay? It's like false evidence appearing real, but when you're under the influence, it appears real. But after the fog rolls, then you find out, oh, that is not what I thought it was, that kind of thing. That's how Neptune acts when it's activated. So, you have to be cautious And you have to be more aware of your boundaries as well, because sometimes we can give in to those things that are only temporary when we're looking at it more permanently under the influence of Neptune. Okay, so you have magnetic energy and you are eager for adventure. Creative projects could flourish with metaphysical flair. Avoid over idealizing lovers or rush into speculative risk. Okay? Physical sensations may feel unusual, like tinglings or fatigue, signaling energy working on subtle levels. Watch out for escapist tendencies like gambling or self deception. Okay, so that's Neptune. April 15th, we have Mercury moving into Aries, and Mercury is our communicator. And this again is happening in the fifth house. So I hope you see where I'm going with this Aries energy, because as it culminates at the new moon, that's when all of this activation is going to happen. All right, so during this transit, your analytical skills for creative projects like writing, teaching, or content creating sparks innovative strategies. Romantic interactions gain wit and flirtatious banter, though overthinking emotions may dampen spontaneity. Involvement with children or mentoring increases, emphasizing logical guidance over excessive instructions. Okay, let's see. On the 16th, we have Mars in Aries conjuncting Saturn. Saturn is the timekeeper, the authority figure, the it places limits, it delays, and it makes us take things at a slower pace, a methodical pace. Okay? And it's grounded in reality. So you can expect blocked initiatives such as stalled romances or creative slumps. Suppressed anger or resentment may surface around risks like speculation or parenting, urging caution against rash moves. External pressure may feel heavy. Okay, that is Saturn in Aries in your fifth house. Okay, so it's putting there is some heavy energy that's happening here that slows things down. But on the 17th, this is where we have the new moon in Aries that's in your fifth house as well. And this is also activating that stellium. Neptune, Mercury, Mars, and Saturn are being activated here at this new moon. So you may feel compelled to dive into hobbies, perform, or showcase your talents with newfound courage, turning your ideas into something tangible. Okay, on the 20th, the sun moves into Taurus, and believe me, you and I both will be relieved because the heat is on. But this is a breath of fresh air with the sun moving into Taurus, into your sixth house, gives you a bit more relief because, Taurus is fixed and it's easygoing. Whereas, Aries and Mars, they are intense, all right? And Venus is also in Taurus, so Venus is about loving, caring, and, you know, just taking it easy. Okay, so this transit highlights your service oriented efforts, and we talked about the sixth house being the house of work, your daily routine, your health, your subordinates, your work mates, and authority figures as well. Being of service is all a part of this sixth house. So this transit highlights your service-oriented efforts, urging you to refine your habits and be more efficient in your job or in wellness practices. You may you may feel motivated to organize your environment or address minor health issues through consistent routines such as diet and exercise. Avoid overworking during this transit. Okay, so that's being highlighted. Avoid overworking. All right, so on the 23rd, Sagittarius rising, we have Venus and Taurus conjunct Uranus in the sixth house. And you know, Uranus, I don't know if, I mean, I haven't talked about it with you this month yet, but Uranus is about sudden change for the, for better, for worse, but it's meant for our growth. And it's also about freedom and being authentic. Uranus happens out of the blue. So, you know, where it leaves you is where you have to pick up the pieces. And again, this is for better, for worse. So you may experience sudden interruptions to your routine, an unexpected opportunity at work, a dramatic shift in your schedule, or quirky health insight that leads you to adjust your diet, exercise, or self-care habits. You may feel more drawn to people who bring novelty, originality, or someone whose charm is electric. You may decide to restructure your habits or your standards. Okay, so on the 25th, we have the Sun in Taurus squaring Pluto in Aquarius. And this is happening with your sixth house and your third house. And your sixth house is your, you know, health, daily routine, where you work, what kind of work you do. Third house is your local community, your zip code, and communication, early education, on your neighbors, siblings. Okay? So you may feel driven to perfect routines or jobs, but your family matters pulls your focus here. Moderation helps avoid burnout from promising too much. You may be prone to overcommitting at work or ignore limits in your wellness routines. You may get caught up in stubborn debates, or your thoughts may be scattered. Okay? Over optimism in plans may cause routine breakdowns, such as sibling tasks, short trips, or mental pursuits. Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to speak on is Uranus moving into Gemini for the next 7 years. And this is going to be situated in your seventh house of relationships, one-on-ones, business partners, partnerships, legal contracts, open enemies, family, and friends as well. So your one-on-one relationships get a shakeup that brings sudden changes, unexpected encounters, and a strong push for more freedom and individuality within your partnerships. Okay, you may meet very different types of people, crave more intellectual situations, or feel restless with partners who don't respect your need for variety and mental freedom. Break up, on again, off again situations, long distance or unconventional pairings, or new relationships that enter your life quickly and unexpectedly may occur. So you have a whole 7 years of learning, growing, and changing into someone who is more authentic, freedom, free of controls. Ooh, that is a big bird that is flying out here. I'm sorry, but this bird is, I've never seen it before. Wow. But anyway, so it's a message, and thank you for that. Scorpio rising. Until next time, bye for now.